It's that time of year again. We're coming to the end of another one, and it's time to wrap up the year and talk about what happened and talk about what we're going to do next year. This has been one of the worst years ever for so many different people, and I mean that's super obvious by now. We're starting to round a section of it that's getting a tiny bit better with like vaccines and stuff going around. And who knows what 2021 is going to hold. We don't know what that's going to look like yet. It could be worse. It could be better. I hope it's better. But for me personally, I'm going to talk about what happened to me this year and what I hope to get out of next year. And I don't know, just kind of ramble, get some thoughts out at the end of the year, wrap it all up. Now that we're here, Nostalgia Week is over. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was very, very fun to record. Some of the games that were in there I didn't even think about for a very long time, and I'm glad that I got to go back to them and reminisce over them a little bit, because I thought that that's what Nostalgia Week is about. And it's a nice way to end off the year, and also to kind of like, we did like the green hair, which is not even that green anymore. I'm dyeing it, by the way. It's going away after Nostalgia Week. It was only planned for that, and I want to end the year and start the year and kind of like sever that and like cut to next year and kind of go into next year with a better footing, kind of like leap into it a bit better. But Nostalgia Week was fun, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's get some of the positives out of the way first, because I have a lot to talk about. This year we've done some of the craziest things we've ever done on the channel, especially in regards to the charity fundraising. We've done those over the last few years, and we used to do them every single month. I got a little burnt out on doing them. I kind of overworked myself and couldn't put my all into each and every one of them, and I didn't want to do that again this year and commit to that wholeheartedly and kind of like fumble that a little bit. So we chose some charities and some organizations and some events that were happening that I really had a connection to and were really vital to the world's progression and really vital to what was happening in the world. So we've done a few this year, which we did one for the Australian wildfires, which was an important cause for everything that was happening on that side of the world at the time, and we raised a huge amount of money, and I'm really proud of that. Then we did the Black Lives Matter one then shortly after that, and these charity events are just a testament to what this year was. Can you imagine that the BLM stuff and the Australian wildfires were still this year? It feels like I did those last year, and the things that were going on in the world were happening last year. I can't believe those were all in the same year. And then we raised like $600,000 for that, which was the most we had ever raised in a single stream on this channel. And then shortly after that, we did Hope from Home with Tiltify to raise money for COVID relief. And I came up with the idea of doing it with a bunch of different YouTubers and streamers and whatnot, just creators in general, and all of you at home. Anybody who wanted to get involved in it could. And we raised $600,000 of that and close to $2 million total for that, which was insane to see so many creators come together and put their talent and their voices and their audiences to work on raising so much money. It was remarkable to see, and I'm so proud of it. And then we extended that further just a couple of weeks ago into Thankmas. And we've done Thankmas a couple of times over the last couple of years, and they've always raised a huge amount of money. But this year was, it was nuts. Because I did the same thing again where we got creators together, and I think I'm going to do that for Thankmas from now on. I want to make Thankmas like a creator-driven event at the end of every year that everybody can become part of. Maybe not even just saying that it's a creator-driven thing, a community-driven thing, because all of you at home, even if you're not creators, were able to get involved in it and raise a huge amount of money. And boy, did we raise a huge amount of money. I set my goal at $500,000, and I said I would dye my hair green, and that was the largest single goal I have ever created on this channel for a charity fundraiser. And we got very, very close to tripling that number. We got very close to raising $1.5 million. I dyed my hair green live on stream. But in totality, everybody together through Thankmas over the week that it was live raised $4.7 million, which blows my mind. It's remarkable how much money can be raised in such a short amount of time if you just get a handful of people together. And it went way further than I thought it was going to. So many creators who just saw my video or heard about it through other people or were on Twitter or whatever, got together and did it as well. Completely removed from me even like asking them to do it, which is exactly what I wanted Thankmas to be, is to just let the word spread on what Thankmas is, make Thankmas like a legitimate event every year and have people raise money. So it's been a huge year for charity fundraising, and let me check how much we've raised for charity now just on this channel. So since we've started raising money for charity, we started in like 2018 properly, and we would do them every month. And then 2019 and 2020 we've kept them going. So in the 3 years that we've been doing them, we've raised $6 million total just on this channel. And that is by far my proudest achievement doing YouTube since I've started. There's so many things that happen and come and go, and events that go on in your channel and in your career, but this means so much more to me than any of that, because this is exactly what having a community, I feel like, is able to achieve, and using it responsibly and trying to help out other people all the time. Like that was one of my main goals when I started off doing my channel, was to get people on the channel and just have fun and give something back to other people and make them laugh and entertain. And it's taken such a leap forward in what we've been able to do with that sort of influence. And I'm so incredibly happy with that. So thank you to everybody who took part in any of these, and all the creators who took part in Thankmas and Hope from Home, and any of you at home who took part in them as well. It really, really means a lot to me, because it's one of those things that seeing fundraising like that really reinforces that it's a community effort. Like, these numbers and that money raised is not me on my own doing something. It's all of us together working hard to really try and make a difference. And that means the most to me. That community, that human aspect to any of this is what means a lot to me. It's what I like most about doing YouTube, is this sort of connection that we have. So thank you very, very much for that. I'm also very fortunate that in this year where a pandemic happened and we're all forced to stay inside and locked down and are distanced from our friends and family for most of the year, I feel very fortunate that I get to work from home, that I get to keep doing what I do, and I don't take that sort of privilege for granted for a single second. I'm so glad that I've been able to still be here and be able to do what I do, but more than that, to be able to give people something to watch while this year has been so hard, and to sort of be there as a voice in the void amongst all these other amazing creators and all these other streamers and YouTubers on these platforms. And the fact that people still watch my stuff and still engage with it, and I can still be there as some sort of entertainment for you during this, makes me really happy as well. That's one of the huge positives of this year too, and I'm very, very fortunate for that. But let's turn tail a little bit and talk about my personal experience with this year, because it hasn't been great. And I know a lot of people are going to say that they've been affected by COVID and everything, but mine is sort of related to other stuff, or maybe COVID related, I don't know. At the start of this year, I went to VidCon UK, and this was before any of the pandemic stuff happened. It was actually right before that, before lockdowns happened. It was a month before that, and it was kind of a thing that we were all talking about, but we didn't really know how serious it was yet. And I went to a convention, which in hindsight was the dumbest idea ever. I should have cancelled going to that event and been responsible about it. But I thought, again, the severity of what COVID was really not that apparent at that time. And I was like, okay, I'll just make sure that I'm extremely sanitary. I'll sanitize my hands constantly. I'll wash, I'll clean. If I meet people, I won't touch my face or anything afterwards. I was hyper vigilant. But it wasn't enough, because I got extremely ill after that convention. Now, I don't know if I actually contracted COVID, because I went to my doctor much later than that, after it had happened. It was the sickest I feel like I have ever been in my life. I got extremely unwell. And I had to take some time off from it. I couldn't work through it either. And I didn't know what it was, and I kind of worried that maybe it was that. So I went to my doctor much later, after it had healed and cured or gone out of my system or whatnot. It was like I had it for like 2 weeks, and then like 2 weeks after that I went to my doctor, and he said maybe I actually had it. And this was still before lockdown and pandemic was a thing. And what worried me about it was that since February, my asthma came back. And I've talked about this a little bit in videos and streams, but I don't think I've talked about how serious it actually has been, because after I got that sick, I haven't had asthma like influence on me since I was 18. I used to have asthma a lot, and I used to take inhalers morning and night. A blue and a brown one, if any of you take inhalers, like a Ventolin and a, I don't know what the other one's called. But I would take it twice in the morning and twice at night, both of them, for my entire life until I was 18, and then I stopped taking them and I had no asthma problems. But this year, after I got sick, my asthma came back and breathing problems came back, which is why I took it a bit more seriously and thought, oh, maybe I did get COVID. I don't know. It was too late by that point. Like, testing for it wasn't really a thing. I got an at-home test much later on, but it was like 3 months after that. So I don't know if the antibodies were even showing up by then. It was, I don't know. That's why I'm reluctant to say that I actually had it, because there was no definitive proof of it. But a lot of signs point to it, and ever since then I've had breathing issues. It's gotten a lot better in the last month. But I was back and forward to my doctor over the last year, trying to figure out what was wrong with me. And I was taking so much medication, I was taking so many different inhalers, nothing was helping. I would wake up in the morning short of breath. I would go about my day, take my inhaler, it would last a few hours, I would be back to short of breath. I would have to take my inhaler like 4 times a day. And that obviously isn't a good thing to have to do. So I've been trying to troubleshoot it with my doctor since the start of the year, and I'm finally on an inhaler that I feel like is actually doing something to me. But I was on pills for it and inhalers for it at the same time, and it was just so draining. When I noticed it was happening first, it was like 2 a.m. We were going to bed, and I was sitting up in bed, like on my phone, and I turned to Evelyn and I was like, I feel like I'm about to have a panic attack or an asthma attack, because my chest got so tight I couldn't breathe. I like stood up, went outside and took some like really big deep breaths, and we went for like a long walk to try and get my lungs back to a calmer state, and thankfully that helped. But that was what would triggered me to go to my doctor, and it got really worrisome for a while. And then after I was on medication for that for a while, I started working out more. I got in great shape. I posted the pictures online. I felt like the healthiest I had in a while. The asthma stuff had kind of gone away. But then as I was working out one day, I got really fatigued, really worn out. Maybe I was just overworking myself, and I tweaked my back. And it wasn't too serious, but I thought I'll go to a physiotherapist anyway to get it checked out, just to make sure nothing was wrong. And they said, no, you're fine. It's just like some of your muscles aren't engaging the way they should, so it tweaked your back a little bit. But I kind of took a break from working out just to be sure, and completely fell out of that. And that's when some really serious digestive issues started happening with me. And those are still happening today. And I don't talk about any of this stuff because, again, I don't want to make it everybody else's problem and make it seem like I don't want people to worry about me, and I don't want people to start making a big deal about things and pitying me too much. But it got really serious for a while. And I took the month off at one point because I was just so mentally burned out. I thought I was going to quit YouTube because I thought, I'm so tired of doing this. I was so mentally drained all year. I didn't know what I wanted out of myself. When I would upload videos, I wasn't getting any fulfillment out of it. And I thought, what if I feel like I'm a nobody outside of my channel, and I feel like I'm not happy and I can't do things outside of my channel, and I can't function because I've been doing this for so long that I don't know who I am outside of that. So I took a month off to really kind of like soul search and reflect on myself. And the conclusion I came to is that there's plenty of stuff outside of my channel that gives me fulfillment. And I was very happy just being myself, working around my house, like fixing things. It sounds silly, but just working with my hands and doing like manual things around my house, and just kind of enjoying games outside of my channel and taking more time for myself. I realized I can be happy outside of Jacksepticeye. Like, Sean McLaughlin is still a person that exists that is fully happy beyond all of this. So if my channel dies and I did quit, I would be perfectly contented. So I came back to doing YouTube, and I still do YouTube because I get fulfillment out of it, because I like the process. I like the creativity in it. I like making videos. And it's not just about numbers and money and all that kind of thing. And I'm really glad that I took that time off to realize that for myself, because for a while I just didn't know. I didn't know if YouTube died. Like, if YouTube just went away in the morning, would many of you be happy with your lives beyond that? And I'm talking specifically to creators, if anyone's watching this. Would you legitimately be able to go about your day and be happy, or would it put you in a complete depressive slump? And that is something that I feel like a lot of creators are not thinking about, because, I mean, let's face it, YouTube's not going anywhere. But I don't know. For me, it just became that sort of point where I had to think about that. And having gotten over that, now I can make videos in a much happier state. How long will I do YouTube? I have no idea. It does cross my mind every now and then, like, what if I just quit and did other things? Like, still do YouTube, but not daily. And I still don't do daily anymore because again, it's just not fulfilling to do daily when all you're doing is uploading for the sake of uploading. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent, but the digestive issues that I've been having recently, I don't know where they've spawned, but they are absolutely debilitating some days. I wake up, I don't know if it's IBS, my doctor said it could be a distended bowel, it could be diverticulitis, it could be a bunch of stuff, but because we're in lockdowns and pandemic and everything, I can't really go seek out stuff about this as easily. So that stuff, it's not only to get physically drained every single day, and I just have not had the energy most times to do anything. And getting up and recording videos, just getting up and doing my day regularly and not wanting to just stay in bed or sit on the couch all day has been a really hard struggle this year. Particularly over the last 4 months. And that's why it hits a little harder when people are like, man, I miss the old Jacksepticeye. I miss when he had energy and everything. It's like, me too. I miss when I had energy every single day. But I just don't talk about these things again because I'm like, it'll pass, I'll get through it. But it just hasn't really been passing. So I'm trying my best to try and overcome those things, but just know that that is the thing. I am trying my best. It's just something that I don't share too often with people. So it's been a real big struggle physically. But when you're physically drained every day for like 8 to 9 months, like that does such a huge number on your mental health as well. And my mental health this year has not been the best either. It's not been awful. It's not been the worst it's ever been or anything like that. I have developed much better coping mechanisms for these things over the years. But it has taken a huge beating this year. And a lot of the things that I wanted to do just couldn't get done. And it's kind of killed my passion for creativity at times and kind of pushed things to the side that I really wanted to get done. Like the coffee stuff, that's another positive that happened this year. The coffee got launched, which I'm really proud of. But there were so many ideas that I had and so many things that I wanted to do with it that I just can't do because we can't travel and meet up with other people. And I mean, I could probably if we took the maximum health precautions, but fuck that. It's stuff that can wait. And I'd rather take this stuff responsibly and seriously rather than just push my own stuff more. You know, I don't want to, like, I could get the coffee stuff done and take the maximum precautions. But it's stuff that I can just wait till next year when the world is in a much better state and we're knee deep in vaccine territory rather than just push by coffee more. I want to be more responsible with these kinds of things. But it just, like, the creativity for that just hasn't been there. And some other projects that I've been working on, I've kind of been a slow burn because I really want to get them out the door. But again, just having health issues all year has just really fucked me up. So, I don't know. It's been a hard year. I don't want to, like, sit here and just rant constantly, but I feel like this is stuff that I should be allowed to share if it's been taking such a toll on me. And you guys deserve to know what's been going on, that if I've uploaded like a sequence of videos this year where you're like, man, it's not his best efforts. I'm like, yeah, it's not. And I agree. And I'm not trying to just blame that, but I don't know. It's been a lot of bottled up stuff in my brain that just needs to come out. And my body just really feels like it's not where it should be. And I really want it to be. And I really want to make sure that next year I get back to a better place. And figure all this shit out. And even the start of this year, I got like really bad tinnitus as well. Which, if you don't know, is that like ringing in your ear sound that you hear all the time. I have it really loudly all the time. And I have had for a while, but this last year and the year before that, it's just gotten louder and louder and worse and worse. And I really got worried about that as well, that I decided to go get it checked out again before pandemic and everything. And I went to a specialist. My eardrums are perfectly fine. There's no physical damage to them. Then I went and got an MRI on my head, an MRI scan, the big machine that goes blam, 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 that takes magnetic readings of your brain, just to see if the nerve in my ear, the nerve connecting like my ear to my brain, was damaged. Apparently there's no physical damage to that either. Also, there's nothing in my brain that is to be worried about. There's no growths or anything, which whenever you get an MRI, even though you know you're healthy in that regard, is still scary to get and takes a toll on you, because I was stressing the fuck out over that, thinking like, well, I'm going in to check my ears, but what if they find something else? Thankfully, I'm all clear physically in that regard. And I went and got a hearing test done. I don't have perfect hearing, but my hearing is absolutely normal. So nothing physical is going on. It's just a sensory thing that I'm feeling. So that's been a thing to try and figure out this year as well. So there's been a lot going on. And then I've been doing Invisalign too, which is just like pulling at your teeth constantly. And a positive coming out of that is I have really nice straight teeth now. But I'm not through all of that yet. And I still have like the things on that like anchors the Invisalign onto your teeth. But my teeth are a lot straighter now than they've ever been. But again, pandemic has slowed down that process considerably. I should have been done by now, but again, bigger things are going on in the world. I'm not trying to say all these things to be like, oh, boo-hoo me. That's a big reason why I haven't explained any of these things before. Because it just feels like there's a lot more going on in the world that needs a lot more attention, and my efforts should be going towards that first. But now we're at the end of the year. A lot of this stuff and a lot of the emotional toll that it's taken on me and things like that have kind of passed. I'm in a much better space right now than I was like 4 months ago. And my physical health, now that I've been trying to like take it a bit more seriously and like eat much more cleanly and just try and like pay attention to what I'm eating and not overeat, which I don't know. I didn't realize I was doing as much, but now that I have like digestive issues that I still need to get checked out and fixed. I don't know. That's something that I've just been trying to do recently. I don't know. Does anybody fucking care? I'm just rambling a lot, but these are all the things that have been going on in my head this year. So next year, I'm not making any big fucking plans. I'm not going out there to be like, oh, I'm a YouTuber, so next year has to be better than this one. I hate that shit. Every year and every video and every fucking month does not have to be better and better and better. Again, I'm talking to all the creators out there. I fucking hate YouTube culture sometimes. How every single video you make has to be better than the last. And you go to your YouTube Studio app to be like, did my video go up? Is it okay? People aren't, like, there's no problems with it. And it's like, oh, 8 of 10. Try next time, buddy. Haha, fucking idiot. Which is what it feels like. Like, I get the idea behind the analytics of YouTube, but I feel like they do more harm than good. Am I the only one who thinks that? I feel like the 1 to 10 system on YouTube is just a huge mental drain on people. It's supposed to make you work harder and understand your audience and what they like. But it just encourages that, like, you need to be better every time. Because if you don't get 1 of 10, then, uh-oh, sorry, stinker, you're an idiot. And again, I don't take too much stock in it, but it kind of fucking hurts every now and then when you've put a lot of effort into something. You think it's a great idea, and then you upload it, and YouTube's like, sorry, you're at the algorithms, fucking, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but you're at the algorithm's mercy whenever you're uploading stuff. So I don't know. At the end of the year, I always came out and I'm like, okay, next year I'm going to do this, 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 and this. It's going to be big. It's going to be huge. I'm going to do 10 projects. I don't give a fuck next year. I'm just going to do whatever I want. I'm going to get whatever I want done and hopefully have a few accomplishments under my belt and a few cool things that at the end of the year I can say, yeah, I did that. This year we did huge charity initiatives. I'm incredibly proud of them. Some of the largest that have happened on the platform, and that's something to be really incredibly proud of, and I am. I launched a coffee company that's done incredibly well, and people have said some really nice things about it, that now has hot chocolate. We're launching tea next year, and it's been a huge struggle to get that into people's hands because of the pandemic, and shipping has been a nightmare. but I'm still incredibly proud of it. I've uploaded some really fun videos this year. I have been streaming more on Twitch, and that has been really fun, and I feel like people have gotten a lot of enjoyment out of that. I've met some incredible people, a lot of other great creators who are now good friends of mine, who I'm incredibly proud of as well. And even if next year is not better than this one, or even as good as this one, I don't care either. I've had a very good year in some regards, even though I've had an awful year physically and emotionally sometimes, but in regards to some other things, I've also had some positives, so I don't want to undermine those either. And the fact that I'm just still here, and I still get to make videos, and next year I will still be here, and the fact that I'm still able to sit here and talk to so many people, and the channel's at 26 million subscribers, is huge. I'm happy with what I have, and not everything has to be, well, what are you doing next? Like this culture seems to pertain to so often, and so many people are so wrapped up in what they're doing on YouTube that they forget who they are as people and have no lives outside of it. And I just urge you to find yourself within all of that noise and all of that work. And I hope that you're finding time for yourselves beyond all of this, because it's incredibly important, because this will not be around forever. And like me, your physical health and your emotional health can take such a huge, massive, drastic turn at any moment that takes more importance over any of this shit. I know it's work, I know it's like paying the bills and all that stuff, but again, your personal stuff comes first. And if I hadn't taken a lot of the time this year to try and figure out who I am and get my mental health in a better position to be able to handle these things when they happened, I might have fallen apart and I might not be here still making videos. So, I don't know. Normally I try to be like Mr. Positive and end the year off on a positive note, but you know what? It's not been the most positive year. I'm just going to be real with everybody. I feel like that is something that I'm much more capable of doing and is much more important to be able to do. That next year, I just fucking hope that the vaccine gets spread around even more to people who need it. I hope that coronavirus at this time next year is something that is not as incredibly lethal and contagious and dominant over our lives as it is this year. And that's the only thing that I hope next year brings. Whatever about personal stuff, I am the master of my own ship. I can guide my stuff in any direction that I want, and I will do that. But there's bigger fucking things happening in the world, and I just hope that next year we're in a better place. Because I feel like this has been a huge transitional year for humanity, that by the end of next year, I hope we've learned some fucking lessons. Wear your masks, stay inside, stop meeting up with people. It's not a hoax. The vaccine is not gonna give you fucking autism. Like, listen to smart people and do what they say. That's all I want. Please. If there's anything I can impart over this year, is to just be responsible, be respectful of other people, and stop being selfish assholes. I know a lot of my audience are not in that bracket, but if any of you are listening who are in that bracket, I'm fucking talking to you right now. Please, stop being an idiot. Anyway, that does it for the end of 2020. Let me know how your year was down in the comments. Vent if you want to, rant if you want to, but please do not forget any of the positives that have happened in your life as well. Do not let the bad things dominate what's happening. We will pull through next year. It can't be fucking worse. I don't want to jinx it. I said at the start of this year that it was going to be an incredible year, and look what happened. I'm so sorry. Anyway, love you guys. Thank you so much for still being here and just partaking in what I do. I hope that I can still be entertaining for you, and I hope that we can still have fun together going into 2021.